Mushoku Tensei is without a doubt the best isekai out there, fight me. With an incredibly extensive world, well-written characters, and rich themes, it's hard to find something that the first season of Mushoku Tensei does badly. Okay, except that one. That one is, admittedly pretty bad. But it's part of what makes him such an interesting character, so I'll defend it anyway. With summer 2023 came a new season of everyone's favorite isekai, and it was good. Well, it's complicated. We start off Mushoku Tensei Season 2 with Rudeus in his #sadboy emo arc. Oh yeah, man is blasting Linkin Park like there is no tomorrow and ending every sentence with a sigh. Rudy is down in the dumps after getting his heart broken by Eris, and it's everyone's problem now. But in all seriousness, the first episode of Season 2 was genuinely great, as it did such an incredible job of establishing where Rudeus was mentally after what happened with Eris, but also managed to have him start moving on in a believable way with him growing closer to Counter Arrow. I also love how Rudeus starts internalizing the lessons and experiences he got from Roxy, almost to a religious extent. Not only magically, but also physically and socially. He starts training his body and spends his time in the city, making a name for himself by helping people with his magical gifts. Kinda like Roxy did back in Boina Village, even if he is basically praying to a pair of panties. Anime. Am I right? We see Rudeus continue to grow and better himself for the first 3 episodes, as he not only builds up the reputation of Quagmire, which becomes his alias when people talk about his exploits, but also starts growing closer romantically with Sarah from Counter Arrow, who Rudeus had saved from certain death. For a while, everything seems perfect. Rudeus seems to be moving on well from Eris, he is actively improving on himself, and for the most part, he seems happy. Obviously, he isn't perfect. He developed the habit of acting like a doormat because of his lingering fear of rejection that has been brought up again thanks to Eris leaving, and he still hasn't found his mother, but things are good. Unfortunately though, this doesn't last, as one unfortunate night of impotence leads to Rudy not only completely burning his bridge with Sarah, but also Counter Arrow as a whole. To the point that Rudeus is ready to throw it all away and kill himself with the dagger that Sarah had bought with him. Man, it really be like that sometimes, am I right? But he is stopped by what is by far my favorite character this season. Soldat Heckler, who previously had been viewed as a threat to Rudeus given his hatred towards Rudeus' constant avoidance to confrontation and the fake mask of happiness that he had on during his month in the town. After a confrontation with a very drunk and very depressed Rudeus, spent the whole night helping our protagonist get over his limp-dicked problem, and even kicked the knife out of Rudeus' hand when Rudeus was at his lowest. Seeing how badly things turned out for Rudy, Sol even decided to offer him to tag along with Sol's own party, Stepped Leader, as they were leaving the city. So Rudeus leaves the town to travel along with Stepped Leader for months, building up his reputation and resolve once more by using the lessons he learned from Roxy as well as what he learned from his time with Counter Arrow. And I gotta tell ya, I was so excited to watch Rudeus join Sol's S-rank party and see how the big dogs handle their quest, to see all the seemingly impossible jobs they would take on, all the incredibly powerful monsters they would fight, see how the constant threat of death would lead them to grow closer to each other, and how... Wait, what? It's over? Already? Well, we just started. What do you mean it's been multiple months? We saw one fight. Never mind then, I guess we're off to college. Truth be told, I would have happily taken a full season of Rudeus' adventure with Stepped Leader. I loved the world building and showcase of how life as an adventurer really worked in the first 3 episodes, and I would have loved to explore the northern continent more along with an S-tier adventurers party, but I guess it just wasn't meant to be. And I guess we'll just have to say goodbye to what is possibly the best character this season. No, you know what? No. If this season isn't going to give this beautiful man the spotlight he deserves, then I will. Welcome to the Soldat Heckler Appreciation Corner, and I will be your host, Jinxed. Soldat Heckler isn't that complicated of a character. I mean, his name is literally Soldier Heckler. But that's fine. He doesn't need a complicated history or an interesting story arc, because what Sol does, he does incredibly well. Starting off, I should really bring up that I absolutely love the no bullshit, say it like it is character who are mean on the surface but show great loyalty to the people they like, and Sol is such a great execution of that archetype. He starts off as kind of a jerk, coming in boasting about how great his party is and then starting fights with Counter Arrow, but we also see that he isn't all bad. After everything is cleared up, he does let Counter Arrow claim one of the snow drakes they killed, and even comes back later to apologize for the incident while drunk. It's clear that Soul does mean well, he just is a very direct person and doesn't want to deal with any BS. This becomes especially clear when we see his interactions with Rudeus. At the start, he cannot stand Rudy because of Rudy's whole Mr. Nice Guy facade that he had going on, but when Rudy actually lashes out on Soul, he just takes it. Soul lets himself get hit by Rudy, even when he easily could have pushed him off or even just dodged the attacks. But he didn't, because he is finally seeing the real Rudy. When Rudy calms down, he even helps Rudy out by listening to his problems and then tries to find a solution with him. Even if that solution kinda backfired. But still, Soul did all this for a guy who he just 24 hours ago claimed to hate. This shows real character, and I really appreciate Soul for that. And I would have loved to see more of him, but as we all know, that's not what happened. Because now, it's off to school and into the next arc. The long-awaited Rudeus's Am I Gay? Arc. What happened with episode 4 really does bring up what is, in my opinion, the biggest flaw with season 2 of Mushoku Tensei though. The pacing is genuinely horrible at times. We spend 3 episodes establishing Rudeus' relationship with Counter Arrow and the general town, which takes place during multiple months, only to then jump to him being in a different guild, but we barely get to see any of that. We see one mission and then it's off to magic school. Even there, we just keep jumping from idea to idea and never settle long enough to explore anything thoroughly. First it's Who's Fitz? And Rudy's adventure with the Royal Otaku Kid Sonoba. Then it's getting the Otaku Royal I mean teaching the Otaku Royal how to make figures. Then it's the Beast Woman, who we also don't explore enough until we move on to the freaking Demon King, who is also here by the way, but we don't get the time to get to know him or learn what his deal is. Questions like, what is he doing here? Who is he? What the fuck even is a Demon King? How is his shirt staying on? Are never answered because we have to move on to the other isekai person who is also here by the way, only for her story to be completely sidelined by the Let's Bang Rudy squad. I feel like there was just way too much going on this season, but not enough time to tell the story. Now, this might just be me, but I would have preferred it if we just slowed down a little bit and explored some of the ideas we had from multiple episodes instead of just rushing through them. Like, we could have had more time to explore the mind of the Otaku Royal Sonoba and his feelings surrounding his unique existence as a superpowered being, but also his feelings regarding his brother that he accidentally killed. I found it really wholesome how someone so strong really wants to excel in something that requires so much finesse and sculpting, as well as his big brotherly relationship with his I mean, we could have spent a few episodes with the freaking Demon King! Whew. Who I still don't know anything about. We could have spent a few episodes to actually get to know him and understand what his role in the world is. I also just really like his character and would have loved to see more of him. Bodyguardy has such a powerful aura and natural charisma that no matter what else is going on, when he arrives, all conversations are going to revolve around him. Like that time he just casually walked up to Rudeus and the gang with his arms full of beers and just starts casually handing out alcohol to— oh god damn it! I mean, we could have spent the time with the other isekai person who is also here. Please don't tell me she's also here. How is her research going? Why is she so keen to leave this world? Please tell us more about Ornstead. Please, please, I need to know, please! In all honesty, there are a lot of things that I wish we would have done with this season, but they didn't. But that's fine. Overall, I still enjoyed this season because even if it is just set up for characters and world building, both the characters and world are great, so I don't mind things being a little slower. This season also keeps a lot of the things that already made Mushoku Tensei Season 1 so great. I was once again amazed by how great and well thought out the world is, especially with the usage of different languages, and I absolutely loved the focus on Rudeus' character arc this season. This season was also just really, really fun. The amount of memeable content in this season, from Rudeus' ditto face, Lena's "Are you kidding me?" when she got sold out for her friend, and how willing Senna was to constantly throw her friend under the bus, along with so many more things, was genuinely hilarious and should be memed for a long time. But aside from the jokes, the characters themselves are also just really fun. Even if I would have loved to learn more about them and the things that were brought up, I do, however, understand why we had to rush through this season, as it's very clear that the anime wanted to end this part of Season 2 on a very specific thing. And I actually do have something to say about that. I think it's really brave of Mushoku Tensei to show Rudy falling in love with another man. Him being in love with Fitz is a giant step forward for LGBTQ plus exposure, and I really hope other animes will continue to take further steps now that a titan in the anime community has made it clear that we can show and include non-straight couples in anime. On a personal note, I really loved this pairing, and I really appreciate the anime for developing such a good representation for queer male-on-male relationships. In fact, I don't think I've ever said this out loud, but I definitely think that seeing their relationship on screen helped me realize my own sexy... Wait. What do you mean Fitz isn't a man? Oh! It's so fat. Forget everything! Stagings, bye!